Hello and welcome back to Curbstomp City and the first episode of the Dojo on TEW 2016, where today I'm going to be running through the first graduates. If you're not familiar with what the Dojo is, basically you at home can apply to be part of the series using the application in the pinned comment. If accepted, I'm going to add you into the real world mod and sim into the future to see how your wrestler gets on, to see what championships they win, see what promotions they end up working for. And maybe, just maybe, one of the graduates will become the best wrestler in the world. I mean, it's unlikely, but it could happen. And just a note of the applications from the last time, I picked the ones that stand out the most as the most unique characters. A lot of the characters that people were submitted, their backstory, they like such and such wrestler, now they want to be a wrestler. That's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for characters, gimmicks. Yeah, people that stand out. If you did apply and you haven't got in, maybe think about mixing it up a bit. Some of them I do like though that haven't made it. So if you want to be in it and you haven't made it into this episode, make sure you apply again in the comments below. And just before we get started, I just wanted to mention that if you use the link in the description down below, you can get $8 off of TEW 2016 or any Grey Dogs game. So you can get WMMA 5. Yeah, there's loads of games on there. As long as you spend over $14, you get $8 off when you use code CURBSTOMP8. All as one word. So that's CURBSTOMP8 for $8 off of TEW 2016 or any Grey Dogs games. But without any further ado, let's get into the first graduate. And we start with Daniel Shadow. And growing up in the criminal underworld of Manchester, Shadow was forced to train in fighting dojos and boxing gyms in order to survive on the streets. Now known as the Collector, Shadow is a bounty hunter that will do whatever it takes to gain power and fortune. His speed and agility can sometimes make him impossible to stop. And this guy was submitted by Jude Pears or Piers. If you're watching Jude, let me know in the comments below how to pronounce that last name. I'm pretty sure it's Pears. But yeah, these are his stats here. The ones that stand out are flashiness, brawling. He's got good athleticism and he's got good entertainment skills as well. He's a heel, cocky and legitimate in the gimmicks as well. So if you do want to have a detailed look at the stats of Daniel Shadow, pause now. Just to note as well, everyone's stats all add up to the same number, but some people are better in other areas. So if you add up all of the skills for the wrestlers, say they had 75 for brawling, 50 for athleticism, all of the numbers add up to 1,300 to make it fair. So everyone's equal, they're just better at different things. And he is based in the British Isles, so our first Brit of the series. And next up we go to a wrestler that is from Italy but is now based in the tri-state area of the United States. And Eduardo is one of the talented Canariato triplets. All three brothers grew up dreaming of being the biggest stars in wrestling, but sadly his older brother David recently passed away due to a drug overdose. His younger brother Mattia was forced to retire after a road accident left him with permanent damage to the knees. And now Eduardo is the only brother left that can fulfill the family's destiny. And this was submitted by Lewis. Shout out Lewis. And yeah, like I said, he's based in America. His stats are pretty good. He was based on Cesaro. He's good in the ring and he's good athletically as well, but he is lacking in entertainment skills, which, you know, he's going to try and pick up during the course of the series and hopefully become the ultimate all-round wrestler, and that's his aim. He's a babyface, he's cool and he's cocky, and he's looking to fulfill his brother's destinies. And next up we move on to someone submitted by Guns, and it is Hayabusa 2. And no one knows his true identity, but it's said that he was chosen as to be the second generation of Hayabusa. The original Hayabusa, now deceased, suffered a sudden career-ending injury in 2001 after a botched springboard moonsault left him paralysed. Before he sadly died in 2016, Hayabusa chose the heir to the mask, and after 3 years of training, it's time for the legacy to continue. Yeah, pretty cool. Fan of Hayabusa, he's part of the ECW series that runs on the channel. We've got him on loan from All Japan at the minute. Hopefully we can sign him at some point properly. But until then, we've got Hayabusa 2 in this series. And I based him on Hayabusa's skills. So he's good hardcore, good in the air. He's got good performance and physical ability, good stamina, good athleticism. Lacking some parts in entertainment. He's got good star quality though, obviously being the heir to the Hayabusa mask. But he's got good charisma, but not so good at acting or the microphone. He is a babyface and his gimmicks are cool and crazy. I'm liking the look of Hayabusa, potentially my favourite so far of the candidates. So yeah, shout out to Guns. Good idea of having the second generation of a wrestler, pretty cool. Also, although he was requested to be based in Mexico, I've moved him over to Japan as I needed to move people around a little bit. And this time submitted by someone called Curb Stomp City, Lara the Giant. And yeah, I wanted to add my own in. There wasn't enough decent female applications, so I've created my own and I've made someone that will stand out, literally. So standing at 7'3", Lara the Giant is the largest female athlete in the world. After moving from her hometown of Rio de Janeiro in Brazil to play college basketball in the United States, Lara failed to make the cut in the 2017 Women's NBA draft. Finding herself in the free agency pool, her future in the sport was in doubt. She has since begun pro wrestling training where her sheer size will make her a unique attraction in the business. And as far as her stats go, she's not at all great in the ring. A lot of improvements to be done. The ones that do stand out though, she's good brawler at D. Well, not even good, a decent brawler at D. But yeah, that's something she's going to have to work on. But I distributed her stats mainly in power, toughness, resilience, star quality and menace. All the things that a giant would have. Everywhere else though, she does need to improve. So she's got the fundamental physical attributes, but now it's time for her to learn the ropes. She's a heel, legitimate and a brute. So yeah, Lara the Giant, 7'3", the largest female athlete in the world. Now based in Southwest USA, hailing from Brazil. And next up, Martin the Eagle Kowalski, submitted by David Kusharski. So, Martin Kowalski trained MMA and karate from an early age, reaching the top of the local fighting leagues. His missions in life are being the first Polish world champion, to put Poland on the wrestling map, and to make himself a Polish wrestling legend. Kowalski still competes in MMA from time to time, adding legitimacy to his pro wrestling persona. So this guy is going to occasionally go back over to MMA in the game, so it'll be interesting to see if he can pick up wins. He's based in South Britain, so we've got one based in North Britain in Daniel Shadow, and now we've got Martin Kowalski in the South. His stats, he's a decent brawler at D+. He's got very good performance and physical ability across the board. Stands out his power and resilience. He's got good menace as well, being a fearsome MMA competitor. He's a babyface that's cocky with legitimacy as well. Next up, we move over to Mexico for the first time, and we've got Miss Marvelous, submitted by Max Marvelous, who some of you may be familiar with. He wanted it to be based in America, but I felt it made more sense to be in Mexico. Miss Marvelous, based off her favourite comic Miss Marvel, is a fun-loving superhero who stands up to injustice, flying through the friendly skies in a pro wrestling ring. I don't think that's supposed to have friendly there, but yeah, let's carry on. She recently moved to Mexico City to learn the Lucha Libre style and to follow in the footsteps of her hero, Rey Mysterio Jr. Good, unique character. We've got a superhero in the game. And she's got really good aerial ability. Everywhere else is fairly decent. She's got good flashiness as well. Very athletic, good stamina. Lacking in entertainment and on-camera abilities, which is something she's going to have to pick up throughout the series. She's got good star quality though. And she's babyface with comedy and wholesome gimmicks as well. So yeah, interesting. Looking forward to see how she gets on. Whether she manages to follow in the footsteps of Rey Mysterio, maybe learning the style in Mexico and then moving back over to her homeland of America and perhaps taking over there. But yeah, it'd be interesting to track and see how she gets on. Next up, we've got based in Japan, Sauta Tanaka. And this was created by Total Entertainment World, based in Japan, and born to a poor family in the slums of Tokyo. Tanaka has an addiction to hardcore wrestling after growing up admiring the stars of FMW. He is numb to pain and looks to take the deathmatch style he grew up watching to even more sadistic levels. And yeah, there he is. He's got really good hardcore ability, but everywhere else he's lacking, but he can improve, of course, over the series. Good performance and physical skills. He's got quite good entertainment skills as well, but yeah, as I say, he's going to have to improve maybe in the ring to get a shot in the bigger promotions over in Japan, but he can certainly hold his own in a hardcore match. He's a heel with a crazy and weird gimmick as well. We've got a hardcore deathmatch wrestler in the series, and let's see how he gets on. And lastly, based in Mexico from Argentina, Wolf Hunter. And a child that was abandoned by his family in the forest of Argentina. He grew up with bears, becoming a man that can speak almost nothing. When he was 15, he had to fight with wolves that scratched his face near his right eye and left him with a mark for the rest of his life. You can see the scar on his face left by the wolves. And now he's joined wrestling, of course, naturally. And this was submitted by Ray Millennium. And he's good brawler, good hardcore. Consistent performance skills, very powerful, very tough. Lacks in the microphone and charisma, but he's a good actor with good star quality. Good menace as well, being a big scary wolfman or wolf hunter. He's a heel that's crazy and a brute as well. So that is the 8 wrestlers so far that have been added to the series. I think I'm going to add 4 more in the next episode, so make sure you get your applications down below. Be as unique as you can. Try and take some inspiration, but not copying these ones, but try and see that they've all got their own little story rather than just like wrestling now's a wrestler type thing. You know, we've got a superhero, we've got the second generation of Hayabusa, we've got a deathmatch expert, we've got a man that grew up in a forest, we've got a giant, we've got an MMA fighter, we've got someone that grew up in the criminal underworld, we've got one of 3 triplets that's now the only one that can fulfill their family's destiny. Now let's sim into the future. We're going to do 4 years and see how they're getting on. And we're going to start from the back to the top this time. We're just going to start with Wolf Hunter and see what he's doing. So he hasn't currently got a job, but he can work in the USA, Mexico and Japan now, so not just Mexico. Let's see his news archive. So he hasn't actually done anything. Brilliant. Has he had a match? I'm guessing he's had an independent match. Yeah, so he has been wrestling. He's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches. E-, E-, F+, E-, F+, F+, E-, E-. He's had 4 wins and 3 losses with 1 draw. But yeah, so far, Wolf Hunter has not had the best careers in the last 4 years. But let's move on to the next one. We'll go with Sauta Tanaka. And he has been signed. He is with Dragon Gate and All Japan Pro Wrestling. He's a lower mid-carder in Dragon Gate and a mid-carder over in All Japan. And he is the 365th best wrestler in the world at the minute. That's pretty cool. He got signed 4 months after the series started by All Japan. Then he was released a year later, or just under a year later. And then it took a few months before he was signed by Dragon Gate. So after being released by All Japan, Dragon Gate gave him the chance, and now All Japan have seen maybe they made a mistake by releasing him, and they've brought him back. It's pretty cool. Highest rated match is B, so where was that? Ying Nan taking on the Golden Lovers, so that's pretty big. So Kenny left AEW then, I guess. And it looks like Kota Ibushi also left New Japan and he's rejoined with his tag team partner in All Japan, so that's interesting. Won the Open the Triangle Gate and Open the Aware Gate as well. Now let's move on to Miss Marvelous, who has 2 jobs as well, the 334th best wrestler in the world. And employers are AAA and Crash. She just recently signed a contract extension with AAA in 2023. When was she signed? It's just over a year after the series started. And then we've got August 2021 with Crash. Is Crash based in Mexico as well? It is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. But still only working in Mexico, hasn't decided to go back to America or broaden horizons just yet. But yeah, she's still honing that lucha libre style over in Mexico and is signed with the biggest promotion in the country. Let's check the match history. Let's see which ones stand out. If you want to pause and have a proper look. Her best match is a C, so where was that one? Again, her best match was against Goya Kong as well. A bit of a rivalry going on there with Kong. But yeah, decent career so far then, getting plenty of matches over the 4 years. Title history, win the AAA Reina de Reinas, whatever that is. The success story so far. Plenty of time to improve though, but still at the age of 29. Martin Kowalski now, and he hasn't got a job at the minute. He's became obese. Let's see, he hasn't had any matches in wrestling, but he's had some MMA fights. So he took that one, he trained for it, and then he won it. So that was he had the fight in 2020, and he hasn't had one since, and we're in 2024 now. Yeah, Martin's career might not be going as he had planned. Maybe he has had matches, let's see. Not this year. He's had 2 matches. One against Rory Coyle, former Defiant and North Wrestling champion, and Craig West as well. We'll go with Lava the Giant, also unemployed, so a few of these graduates are slipping through the cracks, so to speak, and she hasn't ever been signed. Maybe she'd have never picked it up in the ring. Let's check the wrestling ability. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's gone up much at all, if any. Maybe she's had some matches though, let's check. She's still just based in the United States. No, she can travel everywhere now. And still isn't getting any matches. We're not signed to a contract anyway. She's got 6 wins and 5 losses, jobbing the Giant out. Maybe she's lost her credibility and that's why she's not getting signed. Let's keep moving on. Let's check out Hayabusa, who is 73rd in the world, signed to a written contract in New Japan. And the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champion. Now that is big. And if you notice there are a few A's going on. Basics A. Well, there's not a few, the one. Reputation A. So there's 2 A's there. We've got some B's as well. So let's just check out his stats. It looks like he's gotten really good. If you remember, he was only C- at aerial, C- at hardcore and everywhere else. Alright, I think that's how it was anyway. And now he's improved in chain wrestling and mat wrestling and aerial as well. Becomes solid performance skills and physical ability. One of the best wrestlers in the world, you might argue. Mid-carder in New Japan, but solid power 500 rating. Still only works in Japan, so maybe he wants to open that up a little bit at some point. So we signed to All Japan, then Big Japan, extended the deal with All Japan, signed with DDT as well per appearance. Then he got injured, he broke his collarbone and was out for 28 days, but then he was picked up by the big dogs and signed to New Japan Pro Wrestling, which forced him to leave the other promotions. And he's been there since September 2023, so about a year. So Hayabusa's won a few. The tag team, the DDT, Extreme Division, it's pretty cool. IWGP Heavyweight Tag Champ, obviously, and then KOD, wherever that is. I'm not sure what belt that is. Solid matches all around. His best was a B. Has he been in any Wrestle Kingdoms, perhaps? No, he hasn't. Actually, it hasn't been January yet, so that would be why. But with Wrestle Kingdom coming up, maybe he can get his first match in the Tokyo Dome, which will be big for Hayabusa 2. And let's move on to Eduardo Canariati, who is signed to Evolve as a main eventer, so that's pretty decent. I wonder if he's been signed to any big promotion yet. If WWE or NXT maybe picked him up and let him go. But with the ties that Evolve have with WWE, that could be big. He's not had that many actually, but he's went against Angel de Oro at Evolve 185 for his best match. He's had 2 wins and 8 losses, so jobbing a bit, but you know, he's signed to a decent promotion there. Let's check his news archive. So yeah, he's been signed with Evolve since 2022. He's still only 29, so plenty of time to improve. Here's his stats. You can see there that his chain wrestling and mat ability is going up. So it looks like he has got a bit of potential. Title history, none. So he hasn't won any championships. Yeah, Eduardo Canariato signed to Evolve. And now we move on to Daniel Shadow, who is wrestling at Progress and Rev Pro, arguably the 2 best promotions in England, at least, if not Britain. Currently 349th in the world. He relocated to the south, so he moved from the north to the south, where he is now working for Progress and Rev Pro. So that's pretty good. so far. He's only 29 still as well. Hasn't worked anywhere else though. But if you're going to work for 2 promotions in England, I'd probably choose those 2. Let's just quickly check his title history, where he hasn't won any championships, but he number 349 in the Power 500 this year. So let's just scroll down to all years, and his best match is a C+, which happened at Progress twice actually. He teamed with Jimmy Havoc, I'm guessing that is, to take on Zack Sabre Jr. and Mark Haskins. He somehow earned himself a Progress Wrestling Championship opportunity where Will Ospreay defeated Shadow and Jimmy Havoc. So a legendary feud in progress there, Ospreay and Havoc. And now Daniel Shadow is taking part in it in a triple threat, so that's not too bad. Overall, I think there's a few people that stand out. I think if people don't get signed within maybe 8 years or so, we'll remove them from the database just to keep it clean. So Lara, Martin and Wolf Hunter need to step up their game before risking maybe getting removed. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. And let me know what you think of the first episode, whether there's anything that you think I didn't cover that you think I should. Ways to improve the episode, and also make sure if you want to be part of the next episode, use the application form down below. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more TEW 2016 content, and until next time, peace.